Hey, everybody, welcome. That's not the right graphic. Let's get the right graphic. See. How about that? There we go. That's what I'm talking about. It is October. It's not the 7th, it's the 9th. I had everything crash right before I started the show. And so that happens sometimes, right? Technology. It's 2024 and I'm got 10-year-old technology. That's just what happens sometimes. All right, now I can see. What's up, everybody? I'm so glad that you could join me today. I'm Tom Coffey. We're at Coffey and Nuance. Just a reminder, we're on the road to 420 followers over on Rumble. What are we at? 314 right now. So let's, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe over there because you never know what's going to happen. Perhaps in a month. Who knows? Is this channel still going to be around? Don't know. We'll have to find out. Wait and see. But I've got something interesting to talk about on this Wednesday, Big Idea Wednesday. And that's this idea of a media protection racket. Oh yeah, like it's the mob or something. And anyway, I'll present my case. And I made one of these silly AI podcasts to explain my ideas as well. So if you haven't seen one of those yet, I think this is going to be a great show. So let's get into it, shall we? Let's talk about the media protection racket. Sure. Yeah. Well, let's see. I guess I can scoot over here a little bit. Things going wrong before the show, but what are you going to do about it, right? You know, I used to think the news media, was like a referee in a boxing match, neutral, just calling the punches. But these days it feels more like the mob running a rigged fight. And the news media is more professional wrestling than professional. You ever notice how none of the networks ever call each other out? You know, like, hey, CBS, nice try editing the Kamala Harris word salad. I guess we're all pretending that didn't happen, huh? Nope, total silence. It's like one of those crime families where everybody's got dirt on each other, so no one snitches. Welcome to the media protection racket. Now, if you missed it, and I'm sure you did, because no one talked about it, CBS aired 2 different answers for Kamala Harris to the exact same question in a single interview. They did a remix, but without the rapper. First, Kamala gives this word salad that makes 0 sense, but when 60 Minutes posted it later, poof, suddenly she's got a nice crisp answer. They edited the crap out of it like it was some bad reality show, which is all reality shows. And shocker, not a peep from CBS, not a peep from NBC, CNN, or any other usual suspects. What, NBC? Did your camera break? You had one job. You'd think they'd be all over it in a sane world. These networks would be eating each other alive over something like this. But no, that's not how the game works. It's like they've all signed a non-aggression pact. You don't expose our lies, we won't expose yours. They're basically roommates covering for each other all the time. Nope, didn't see a thing. You spilled something, whoops, well, guess no one's cleaning that up. The worst part is they don't even care if we notice anymore. They're like, yeah, we edited it. What are you going to do about it? Change the channel to something else owned by the same people? Good luck. It's like they figured out that no one's really paying attention or cares enough to ask questions. And by no one, I mean half the country who's still buying this crap they're selling. Now, think about it. They could be at each other's throats over this. This could be NBC's moment to swoop in and say, look at how sloppy CBS is. Come watch us instead. We'll give it to you straight. But no, they're all huddled together in the same echo chamber, making sure the boat doesn't get rocked. The only thing they're protecting is their paycheck. Or more accurately, each other's. It's a media cartel. And let's not forget, Let's not forget, half the country won't even hear about this unless they watch Fox News. And, I know Fox isn't perfect either, but at least they're talking about it. The rest of the networks, they've turned into a weird cult where everyone's just starting to, where everyone's just staring at the same shiny object, pretending it's the only reality. Don't question the narrative. Don't ask how the sausage is made. Just eat it. Here's the kicker. It's not even about Kamala. The problem is, this is what they do with everything. They manufacture reality. If they don't like how a story plays, they just tweak it, re-edit it, and boom, it's a brand new story. No one questions it because all the media outlets just look out for each other. It's a consensus cabal. Remember when journalism was supposed to be about keeping everyone honest? Yeah, those were the days. Now it's just a big PR firm for the establishment. The reason NBC isn't coming for CBS is because they're all in on the same game, keeping the machine running smoothly, keeping the public in the dark. It's like they've got a collective panic button. Don't press that or we'll all go down. So CBS, NBC, CNN, they're all just taking turns pretending to be the good guys while we're left watching the media circus and wondering why it feels like the WWE. I'm not saying there's a grand conspiracy. No one's that competent. But when the incentives all line up to make sure nobody rocks the boat, you don't need a conspiracy. It's just business as usual. Look, it's no surprise people are turning to YouTube, Rumble, X, and podcasts for their news because the minute the corporate media smells a story that might challenge their narrative, they shut that down. Here's a crazy idea. Maybe it's time we start treating the media like we treat politicians. Don't trust any of them. Seriously, NBC isn't calling out CBS for editing Kamala's interview. Ask yourself, what else are they ignoring? And if the media can't hold themselves accountable, well, why the hell should we ever expect them to hold anyone accountable? That's the real joke here. The media was supposed to be the watchdog. Now, it's just the lapdog, waiting for its next treat from its master. My name's Tom Coffey. This is the Coffey Nuance Show, the most incredible censored commentary and news show live. Right now, flame on. Get that coffee. So this is what I'm calling the media protection racket. Okay. And, all right, if we're defining it, noun, right? It's a coordinated effort among corporate media outlets to protect one another from public scrutiny or accountability by selectively reporting on or ignoring stories that expose internal biases, manipulations, or ethical lapses. Now, despite appearing as independent competitors, these media entities collaborate to safeguard their collective credibility and maintain control over public perception, ensuring that damaging or inconvenient narratives are suppressed or downplayed. This term implies a hidden agreement to shield each other from criticism and perpetuate the illusion of objective, diverse journalism. So that's what we're calling the media protection racket. I think it's a real thing. You can tell me if you buy what I'm selling. But if you haven't heard the story, I'm going to play a clip. I'm just going to play the meme that was on X, and I'll explain it to you here. But what happened is Kamala was on 60 Minutes. And on TV, they put out one version. And then on YouTube, they put out two different versions of the same interview. In one of the versions, she's got kind of a real sloppy answer to the response. But in the other one, it's cleaned up and she's got a nice crisp answer. Well, how the hell did that happen? Right? Something ain't right. So I'm going to play that for you first, and then I'm going to talk about the fact that the entire media is not covering this. So here we go. This is what was posted on X. This is over a day ago.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill,
The work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the word.
So there you go. On one hand, she gives this word salad, and on the second one, she's got a nice crisp answer. How is that possible? Well, it's not. They edited the crap out of this, but here's the thing. Is this a mistake? I don't think so. But the incredible thing is it's still up. CBS has not explained this. You can go on their YouTube channel and both versions exist. Yeah. I downloaded both versions of it. That's what I was trying to do before the show started. And I think I had too much in memory and I crashed my machine and the whole thing. But just take my word for it. Well, you don't have to take my word for it. You can go and look for yourself. These are two different versions. Because when I saw this on X, I said, well, that's not real. And I downloaded the original interview from 60 Minutes. And it's like, see, it's the same one that they're saying. There's no difference. But then I went to YouTube and I looked at it and it was totally different. It was a different answer to the same question. Wow. But I think the big story here is the media protection racket. The fact that ABC, NBC, why are they not leading with this? Because if there was really competition between news agencies, they would go, oh my God, look at what CBS did. They're a bunch of liars. But they're not doing that. They're not doing it at all. CNN, they're not covering this story. You would think that they would. They would point out how bad CBS is, but they're not doing that. They're not doing it. So to me, the conclusion, it's a media protection racket. That's what I've called it. I wrote a little paper on it and I uploaded it to Google LM and I had them make a podcast to explain it. Now, if you haven't seen this yet, I've done the last couple of shows. I've been playing these podcasts and they don't seem real, right? They seem so good that you're like, Tom, you just didn't click a button and it didn't make a little podcast about your media protection racket. Oh, yeah. Oh, it did. So I want to play for you this media protection racket podcast that was made from, a couple of paragraphs that I wrote up about what happened with Kamala Harris and CBS. So this is all like brand new breaking news stuff. And here's the podcast. We'll talk about it as soon as it's over.
Ever get that feeling like, news outlets are playing a different game than just telling us what's going on, like they're protecting each other or something?
Interesting.
It's kind of like what we're digging into today. We're looking at this article. It's called The Media Protection Racket.
Okay.
And it's making this claim that there's this media protection racket, right? Where basically all these big corporate media outlets, they've got this unspoken agreement.
Interesting.
Yeah, they cover for each other, hide each other's mistakes. What do you think about that?
Well, it definitely makes you think. That's for sure. When you hear something like that, it really makes you wonder about what we are and aren't being told by the media, the sources we rely on.
Exactly. And the article, it starts off with this crazy example about a 60 Minutes interview, right, with Vice President Kamala Harris.
Oh, okay.
And they actually aired two totally different responses, like completely different answers to the same question.
Yeah, I remember that. That was strange. You just don't see that every day. Putting a totally different answer to what she originally said.
It seems like that would be huge news, right? Like the potential for manipulating what people see, that's a big deal. You'd think every news network would be all over a story like that.
Yeah, you'd think so, right?
But it's like a blip, just disappeared.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if that silence means something,
It does. In a media landscape that was truly competitive, you'd think rivals would be all over that.
Right.
A chance to discredit the competition, maybe even get some better ratings for themselves. So the fact that everyone was so quiet, so coordinated in not talking about it, it's suspicious.
That's exactly where this whole media protection racket thing comes in, right? Like,
Mhm.
you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. You don't criticize me, I won't criticize you.
Like an unspoken agreement, almost like a, I don't know, code of silence or something.
Yeah, exactly. And the article actually uses that comparison, like it's a mafia kind of thing,
Oh, wow.
where nobody wants to be the one to break the rules because they're afraid of what might happen down the line, the retaliation.
It's a pretty intense comparison.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But it makes you think, if that's really going on, if that's how they're operating, what does it mean for us? What does it mean for the news we're getting?
It's a valid point. If they're more worried about protecting each other than they are about telling the truth, then what are we missing? What aren't we seeing? I mean, it makes you think, if they're protecting each other, what are we missing? Like, are there stories, real stories, that we're just not getting because it could make someone look bad?
Right. And not just someone, it could be an entire network or even the company that owns a bunch of different outlets, right?
Absolutely. And the article, it actually digs into why this whole media protection racket might exist in the first place. One reason is kind of obvious when you think about it: self interest.
Yeah. Because if one outlet comes after another one for doing something shady, who's to say it won't happen to them next time?
All right. Exactly. It creates this whole culture of, you play nice with me and I'll play nice with you, even if it means ignoring some pretty questionable stuff going on.
And it's not just about keeping their reputations clean, is it? I mean, the article talked about how a lot of these outlets are owned by the same giant media companies.
Oh, absolutely. That's a huge part of it.
So even if it's not their own network directly, criticizing another outlet could mean they're hurting their own company's bottom line.
Exactly. It's all connected, right? Suddenly, journalistic integrity takes a backseat to protecting those shared financial interests.
It's almost like they're more worried about their stock prices than they are about the truth getting out there.
It can definitely feel that way sometimes.
So we've got self-preservation, we've got these shared financial incentives. What was that third reason the article gave?
Right. So the article also talks about ideological alignment.
Hmm. What's that mean exactly? Like, even though news outlets might disagree on some things, they're still kind of pushing the same overall narrative.
Yeah, basically. And they don't want to rock the boat too much, Like, if
Yeah.
they start calling each other out too aggressively, it could weaken that whole narrative and make people trust the media even less than they already do.
Right. It's like this self-preservation tactic, but on a much bigger level. Instead of just one outlet looking out for itself, they're all protecting this larger system, even if it means some things get swept under the rug.
Yeah, it can be pretty concerning when you think about it.
It makes you wonder, if all these big players are in on it, if they're all part of this unspoken agreement, where do we go to get the real story?
Well, that's where the article gets interesting. It points to alternative media as being super important in all of this.
Okay, so because they're not part of this big club, they're more likely to what, call out the big players?
Exactly. They don't have those same restrictions, so they're more willing to report on those stories that the mainstream media might shy away from.
So it's like getting a second opinion, a fresh perspective on everything that's going on. So it's like we need those alternative voices to help us see past the spin.
Exactly. Having more voices, more perspectives, that's how we avoid getting stuck in those echo chambers where we're only hearing what we already agree with?
That makes a lot of sense. But I have to say, it feels like there's so much information out there these days, so many different sources. It can be hard to know what to trust. How do we even begin to make sense of it all?
It's a good point, and it's something we all struggle with. I'd say a healthy dose of skepticism is always a good starting point.
Okay, so don't just believe everything you read.
Exactly. Don't just take things at face value? Question everything. Who's saying it? Why are they saying it? Could there be any biases at play that you're not seeing right away?
So it's not enough to just find different sources. It's about actually thinking critically about what those sources are telling us.
Yeah.
We can't just sit back and absorb. We have to be active in the process.
That's exactly it. Be engaged with the news you're consuming. Look for stories that rely on facts, on evidence, and pay attention to how different news outlets frame the same story. Are they emphasizing different details? Are they leaving things out?
And maybe even seek out information that challenges our own views, right? It's easy to just stick with what we already believe, But that's how we end up in those echo chambers.
Exactly. The goal is to be well-rounded,
Yeah.
to see the bigger picture.
I have to say, this has been a really thought-provoking deep dive. It's really made me look at the news in a whole new way.
That's fantastic. That's what we were hoping for. Remember, it's not about telling anyone what to think. It's about giving you the tools and the awareness to figure things out for yourself.
So the next time you're scrolling through headlines, remember this idea of the media protection racket. Ask yourself, am I really getting the full story or just the story they want me to see?
Exactly. And that's how we become more informed citizens, by questioning things, by thinking for ourselves.
That's a great place to wrap up, I think. A big thanks to you for joining us today. This was eye-opening, to say the least.
Thanks for having me.
And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We hope this encourages you to stay curious, stay engaged, and never stop searching for the truth.
So there you go. That was the AI-generated podcast based on a little article I wrote about this story that took place of CBS putting out two different interviews, putting out two different answers to the exact same question from 60 Minutes over the weekend on Sunday. To me, the most bizarre thing is that CBS News has not corrected this. CBS News has not taken the videos down. They are well aware of this. And to me, that's just kind of like saying, yeah, we don't care. We don't care. We know that you know that we're full of it, and we don't care. We're leaving it up. Pound sand. It's really, I'm shocked by the brazenness of CBS News to at least not go, oh, well, we made an error, and to take the video down. Both videos are up right now on their YouTube channel. Yeah. And I did archive them both, and I downloaded them both in case they ever do disappear. But it doesn't look like they want to delete them. How crazy is that? And that ABC, NBC, CNN, they're not even commenting on it either. But I think if Donald Trump starts talking about this, then perhaps they may have to cover it. Who knows? We'll have to see. Anyway, that's all I've prepared today. Stick around for the after show. I will be going through all of your comments and getting your feedback on that. But I will be back on Friday with another show. Until then, peace. So what's up, chat? What's up, everybody? Thanks for hanging out with me today. John's in the chat. Lucid's in the chat. Got our flames and our coffee. That's a great way to start the day. What's up, Doug? Joe says they edited the crap out of that 60 Minutes interview, and they still destroyed her. LMAO. Yeah, they edited the crap out of it. That's absolutely true, and it made her look bad. The real problem is she's so hard to watch that most people, even if they're supporting her, don't want to watch her talk. So they don't even watch the interview to see how bad it is because they just don't want to see it. It's very, very odd. Joe says, counterpoint, there may never have been a golden age of journalism. The stink has been revealed because we finally have a diverse array of content available to shape our opinions. I agree with that. You know, we think that journalism was once very, very good and honest. I'm not sure that it was, but I wasn't around back then to check. And what I found is that if you just say journalism's never been real, that's not persuasive at all to someone that hasn't bought into that net yet. And so what I found is by pretending that journalism might have once been good. And that's how I go about it. I say, remember when we thought it was good? So I'm not lying, but I'm saying, we used to think that we could count on journalism and that it used to be that's what we thought. I know there's a little nuance there. I'm not sure. I think journalism may have always been this bad. Yeah. So I'm with you there. Ox says media is the PR branch of the government. It is the establishment government. Certainly it's not the PR branch of any populist, but definitely of the current establishment. That's for sure. Schrodinger's interview. That's true. What's up, Doug, John? Joe says it's dangerous to think for yourself. You may just break free from society. Absolutely. It seems like incompetence is more likely why both are up. Not my job award. It may have been incompetent. It may be incompetence. It may be. But they know about it now, right? Though their CBS News is aware that they've put up 2 different videos. They're aware of it. The fact that they choose not to do anything about it, not to comment on it, not to take it down, go, that went up in error or something. That's what you would expect. They don't even care. That's what I have to assume. I have to assume that they don't care. They don't care if you know that they're full of it, because they know the entire media protection racket will have their back. So that's my case. I think it's a good topic for discussion. So out in the world, out and about today, you can talk about your thoughts on the media protection racket. Anyway, that's all I have. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I sincerely appreciate those people sticking around, hitting the like button, all that good stuff. And today's video was another example of these AI-generated podcasts and just how good they are. How good they are. I keep playing them because I think once you see a couple of them, you'll understand the potential of AI, because I don't think that most people really understand what it can do. And so that's why I keep bringing you more examples of that. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Have a beautiful week, and I'll be back on Friday. Until then, peace. Shower.